It's a little loud.
Let me lower that music down.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Well,
Yep, that's good right there. That's
salam
good right there.
alaikum. Salam alaikum. Many blessings to everybody.
Yeah,
Once
yeah, yeah.
again, hopefully the music's not too loud for you guys. Today we're going to be getting into the binary code Kongenga. All right. Once again, I'm here with my grandchild within the tradition, Tata Mabungu.
What's going on, everybody? Salam alaikum.
And we'll be giving a little bit of, I guess, life experience and having to do with this Dikenga Bisinsu binary code with Impalo Kongenga. Right? Obviously, Mabungu, nice and slow like we always do.
Mhm.
No need to be rushing none of these things. Then we'll open up the chat like we always do at the end. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and I have a few comments to say at the end of the video about certain things. I have things to announce, not just about the books or any of that stuff, about other good conversations. But we can go ahead and start it. Even though today I'm feeling a little bit mellow, feel great. I feel amazing. Um, and we can start it off with Kongenga, right? So Kongenga, right? The binary code Kongenga, the word, what it means, it's an illuminating rope that binds all things together. That's what Kongenga means, right? And the most important thing to understand that with this code is anything that you see that is interconnecting anything, right? The main source of what connects everything. It is Kongenga. It's an illuminating rope that binds all things together. And at the end of the day, once again, it has to do because like you see what I'm saying, that what you can't see is a part of what you see, we got Muya in that background.
Mhm.
Um, which it has to do right with money, with finances, all of this stuff. But the one thing that has always been there is for you to be able to obtain money or any of those things, that illuminating rope that binds all things together, it is knowledge. And this code represents that. The knowledge that a master teaches is disciple, is student, the
Mhm.
neophyte. So when you see this code Kongenga, it represents, once again, a godparent with God children. It represents a father with his kids, a teacher and the student, all right?
Mhm.
A kung fu master, and I guess his disciple, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A boss or an employer and the employee, all right? And the lessons that trickle from one another. You get me? That's the illuminating rope that's binding all things together, relationships
Mhm.
between those two positions within life. And everybody lives this code. At the end of the day, we're all living this.
Mhm.
But we're going to speak more about fatherhood, godparents, specifically a godfather, et cetera, being an employer, all of the things because it's within this code. Even within the Nkisi room, some Nkisis, right? Mel and Fumbas and all that stuff teach other ones. So that's important too when you see it, when you're divining to kind of understand what's really going on. And I don't know if the chat's open or not. Let me let me put live chat. Yeah,
Okay.
let me just leave it live. Let's leave it open. I think I changed it there. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, that's the one of the most important things, right? One of the messages here within Kongenga is that gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. Right? A gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. And there's a multitude of ways that we're living this. But before you see what I'm saying, I'm already going way too fast because I always think that I'm speaking to people that might know coding and there's understanding divination, all of that stuff. So I always say it's best to orientate in the beginning. When it comes to divination, leave all that mumbo jumbo, all of that lower level Santa Claus stuff up out of this.
Yeah.
When it comes to these codes, they represent a circle of life. Where the Musuni Karatukola Numbemba. And they represents all the facets that we live. So by us understanding these codes, the dead are letting us know what is the client or what are you going through, what are the situations that are happening. Because everybody somewhat lives the same thing, the same pattern,
Mm-hmm.
same code, but just with a little bit of different details. You get me?
Yep.
But it says that within Kongenga, gentle tongue opens doors while harsh one closes them. So I applied that to me. Let me go ahead and have a gentle tongue and orientate the best I can, so I can open a door to knowledge. If I don't do that and I decide to have a harsh tongue, um, I can close the door to knowledge for people and understanding at the end of the day, right? So that's why let's go ahead. It's always good to orientate in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. How many fathers, right? There's a skill. It is a skill to be a father, to be a teacher. It is very hard to communicate with an apprentice or with children. I've had luck. You get me? I've had luck. I had, or I have, tremendous elders. More specifically, when it comes to my godfather, he's my, let's say, male figure that I've always looked up to, or follow his path, or follow his footprints. But it's hard for me to fulfill those footprints at the end of the day. I always looked up to it, and there's a skill that he has always had. I don't know how he learned it, um, and it is that to have a gentle tongue to open doors while a harsh one could close them. How to give life lessons to your children, to your god kids, to people that you speak with. It is quite an art. I guess it's the art of communication. Many fathers, it's very important for them to be great speakers. We know that women, right? Most of the time, they're more emotional,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they say things sometimes out of their emotions, and they teach out of emotion, which is very powerful, and it has their things in different codes. But within Kongenga represent that the manhood and the fatherhoods that are here. How I've always got to learn that identity tongue can open doors while a harsh one can close them. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it can be looked at in different ways because some fathers, right, they might have been raised by women, right? Or some men were raised by women and they're not tough enough when it comes to raising their kids. Their tongue is too gentle and they can open a door to death for them. They show no discipline, no morality, nothing to them. You see? And if they use a harsh tongue, sometimes it can close the door to death itself by telling him, no, you can't go out tomorrow. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. To be a little bit harsher with his words. But a perfect let's say father knows how to find balance within that. Has a strong demeanor, but at the same time is very gentle. And as men, we have to juggle within that.
Mm-hmm.
When to be strong with our descendants of any kind, with our employees, um, within our godchildren, within our children themselves, how to delegate with that, when to be strong and when not to. Because we always say that a good leader must learn how to speak, must learn how to lead. You see what I'm saying? You cannot let your emotions cloud your judgment. And I've always learned that from my godfather, very stoic and he controlled things. Sometimes he did chew me out, this, and that, um, because I needed it. But I always think about Kongenga in that way. What do you got, Mavungu? Male Gonzalez Azula.
Uh, a gentle tongue closes opens doors while a harsh one closes it. It reminds me of when, as you grow up, you have to learn certain lessons on how to conduct yourself as a man or as a human, even when it comes to even negotiations. So the harsh tongue can get put you in a position where you're either in a deal or you're not in a deal. See, if you're in front of a car salesman, you gotta know how to be gentle with your words enough to maneuver him into the position where he's gonna get you into a nice car. but you also have to be harsh with your tongue because he's going to try to get you. He's going to hit you with a soft tongue, a gentle tongue, in order to get you to pay a higher cost. And that's when you have to close the door on him, okay, and hit him with a harsh tongue. Sometimes you got to go up against him, yell at him, and just walk out the door yourself, right? And then that changes the whole game. Then he has to learn how to respect you in that sense. So as a man or even as a person, period, you know what I'm saying? It's there's a respect factor there whenever I see Kongenga.
Which I like that, right? And we'll go basic. A gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. At the end of the day, it's telling people to be careful with your tongue, though. What you speak and what you say. At the end of the day, a good person who have a good head on their shoulders can discern themselves, right? What to speak and what to say at the right moments. Many people have this code, whether they're young, adults, women, female, it don't matter who it is. The Fumas are letting you know that they have to be careful with the words. You
Hmm.
get me? And now the problem is that they have no leadership within, let's say, manhood. So if a woman has this, you already know that there's issue with her father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If a
Yeah.
guy has this, you already know that there's issues with their father. They have no lack of foundation. Because good fathers and good leaders at the end of the day make sure that their descendants are fit for the fight, are mature and they can handle themselves within any social status of life,
Hmm.
any predicament, any atmosphere that you find yourself in. Um, and men, right, specifically, must be grounded. My godfather's very stoic, right? Very
Yeah.
stoic. Um, when it comes to handling things, and I always learned that from him. Very few times I got to see him. I think I can count on with my hands when I really seen him emotional.
Hmm.
So a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. We got to pay attention to that. Very basic. Be careful with what you're speaking.
Yeah.
What you're speaking to your descendants, to your kids, to your co-workers, to this, to that. Because at the end of the day, you can open a door benefit you, or you can open a door that does not benefit you, or you can close a door that can benefit you, or you can close a door that doesn't. You get me?
Hmm.
And that's very important.
Yeah, I agree with
You want me
that.
to continue?
I agree
You
with
got
that.
you got more on them.
Yeah, I got a little bit more. Even when it
Okay.
comes to the tradition in itself, right? Like going off of what you were just saying, like sometimes you got to know when to open your mouth, because sometimes when you have like my padrino Tata Zango, okay, sometimes you have to go to him, with questions. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to just give you any and everything. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta come with a gentle tongue and try to get some more information. You know what I'm saying? Ask the questions, try to get the information. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because sometimes silence speaks volumes, and for me, that could be the harsh tongue, the tongue that doesn't speak at all. Okay, so at the end of the day, you want to put yourself in a position where you can have that conversation, right? And then have, like I said, the respect between each other.
Which I agree with that. Many men also have, when you see this code, when it's looked at in a different way, it is just that they don't speak enough. They don't speak what they feel, what they think.
Hmm.
And sometimes that can be detrimental to that person and the relationships around them because they're too stoic or too um let's say closed off or introverted, right? And that's very detrimental. Many men, right, we suffer in silence, and it's in this code, right?
Yeah.
They suffer in silence. All the weights of the world, all the issues and problems, they suffer in silence.
Hmm.
They don't speak it with anybody.
Yeah.
They love their wives, they have their kids, they have good friendships, but many of them, or many men at the end of the day, we suffer in silence due to the fact that when we open our mouth and we speak of things, um, I guess machismo's there, and it can make us look weak. But
Hmm.
sometimes to to take those standpoints in life, it's best to speak. Because how many men have suicide themselves due to the fact that they were carrying burdens of the world, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So then you have the other type of men, right, that are somewhat very emotional and they say things in the heat of the moment, like if they're women, right? And we have to understand that words are knives, words mean things, words can burn down major bridges.
Hmm.
And we know you burn down a bridge, it takes twice as long to build them.
Yeah.
And a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. For the men, once again, you have to know when to speak and when not to
Yeah.
when it comes to life. So within relationships, sometimes we come from work, right? And the woman is nagging, bah, 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 nagging or this or that. And what she's really searching for might be connection.
Hmm.
See what I'm saying? To interact, to speak to somebody because her day is full of kids and responsibilities too.
Yeah.
And she wants to connect with you, but at the end of the day, what us men want, we want peace. They give me want peace, we want silence. But a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Sometimes men let their emotions cloud their judgment and they blur out things that they're not supposed to, that they really don't mean deep down. And that's obviously where the divorces come, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when it comes to that, a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. A man have to learn how to speak to women, especially when they're gonna get married. We know that women fall in love due to what they hear, and a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. So instead of telling your wife that she's fat, instead of telling your wife that that hairdo wearing pink makes her look bad, a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. Use a more gentle vocabulary to be
Hmm.
able to caress the horse to ride it.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Sangaya Kongenga, but Kongenga we're speaking about, right?
Hmm.
At the end of the day. Um, and it teaches us that here.
Yeah.
You must learn how to interact properly
Hmm.
as a man at the end of the day. Now, when it comes to the women, a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. It's the tongue,
Yeah.
right? And many times when we see this within, let's say, consultations on the escape routes, on advice that they're saying, look, this is what this woman need to learn to do, or this is the problem within the relationship.
Uh-huh.
It has to do with sexuality. See what I'm saying? It has to do with oral sex, et cetera, because a gentle tongue can open the door and they can also, close it.
Yeah.
See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So with her tongue, a gentle tongue opens doors, while a harsh one closes them. This is what she
Hmm.
needs to learn. Even though within consultations, et cetera, you need to thread lightly when it goes to these advices.
Yeah.
Learn to speak because it's already telling you how you're gonna deliver the message
Yeah.
to the client, all right, to the patient. And it says it there: a gentle tongue opens doors, while a harsh one closes them. You, as the priest, also need to learn how to communicate with the people,
Yeah.
whoever's across that's getting the reading,
Yeah.
especially if it's a female and the dead is saying she needs to learn how to have a gentle tongue so she can open her door to her marriage better.
Hmm.
Because right now she has a harsh tongue and is closing it. The guy's looking for other women to satisfy him when it comes to his sexual needs. You get me? Hopefully, I don't have to go so much in depth for people. So you'll get to see that there at the end of the day,
Hmm.
and vice versa too for the men. Sometimes they ain't packing correctly, and a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. You get me?
Hmm.
How they say it's not the size of the boat,
Yeah.
it's the motion of the ocean. You see what I'm saying? But sometimes forget the ocean, forget the size of the boat, forget all of that. A gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Some women will rather like that besides the size of the boat and the stroke of the ocean or the motion of the ocean. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because we're here on these platforms and we can't go so much in depth
Right. Right.
with
Right.
these things. You see what I'm saying? And there's a multitude of ways that we can see that. You get me?
Hmm.
Just the tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. So what's the key to that? It has to do with the ripple effect. And you're like, what do you mean by that? I'm like, yeah, when you open your mouth and you're gonna deliver a message, think about the effect of how it can make somebody feel, or how could
Hmm.
it make somebody look at you differently or look at the situation differently.
Hmm.
You get me? It's not
Yeah.
just soothing somebody or speaking, sugarcoating things or being harsh.
Yeah.
Really think about how can it affect the person according to their levels of maturity
Yeah.
and who are you speaking to.
Yeah.
Once they get the information, you chose to have a gentle tongue or you're choosing to have a harsh tongue.
Hmm.
What door are you opening or closing? What are they going to look at life? See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's
Hmm.
the key. Whether Kongenga ye Kongenga to whatever aspect, think about the aftermath of your words and the way that you're going to say things. The
Hmm.
way people can. let's say, project that image that you're speaking about.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. Sometimes we speak harshly. Like my godfather, when I was younger, spoke very harshly to me.
Hmm.
Um, but I never took it personally.
Yeah.
You get me? I never took it personally because I seen things differently. I had a different mind. I would understand if he took it personally, things would have been different. He would not sit there and speak to you because he's that type of man.
Mhm. Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? He's a different type of
Mhm.
man. But let's say if he chewed out somebody else or this or that, I think they would take it personally. And he's just saying for you to understand the seriousness of things. So you see, the way that you speak to people, whether this godchild or this son of yours or this co-worker of yours, right? That you're in charge of them, not everybody can handle the harsh words. Other
Yeah.
ones need them. And some people might take it personally instead of understanding business is business and family is family. You
Hmm.
get me?
Hmm.
Our relationship is one thing, and another thing is what we have to get ourselves involved in,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. At the end of the day,
Mhm.
and that's a gentle tongue opens doors, while a harsh one closes them.
And I
Now, many. Go
and
ahead.
I can
Go ahead.
see it like also like how they say your first impression is your last impression, because how you speak, how you project yourself out there in the world is usually that tongue that people are going to see. Okay, how you speak when it comes to the settings, the rooms that you're in. Okay, can you keep up with the conversation, because that's going to be your gentle tongue that's going to open that door for you. Okay, if you come in there talking this mumbo jumbo and not really keeping up, people can tell when you're not in the zone, or you're not focusing on the material, or you're not really in it, just by the way that you speak. And by the way you speak could be that harsh tongue, and it's going to close the door off to the other people that's there.
Which I love that. How many people within the traditions, they're priests or they're having kisi and they meet other ones and they decide to have a harsh tongue and it closes your doors to develop good relationships,
Hmm.
which is to be a part of that illuminated room that binds all things together, networking.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
yeah.
which I've been firsthand witness of that, especially within those TikTok lands and all of those things
Yeah, yeah,
that you
yeah,
don't know who those people are. They jump on live and they speak too firmly, even though they might not be meaning it in the beginning. So sometimes you see there is like this skill that you have to know when to speak firmly and when not to.
yeah.
Um, because at the end of the day, you don't want a misunderstanding to happen or you can disrespect somebody. And I'll always say this, I'm gonna say it 'cause I've said it many times before.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
speak
yeah.
something out of emotions, right? Out of your emotions, you're like, man, I spoke too roughly. And I wasn't meaning that. I got emotional, I spoke too rough, and I really those weren't my real intentions. At the end of the day, apologize.
Yeah.
You get me? Apologize. Now, remember when you see Kongenga, you also seeing, bro, there's a bunch of codes there. But you got Tia on the other side, you got Motali, you got Nyoga, you got Muya in the background, et cetera, et
Mhm.
cetera. But we got Tia, and those that code has to do with white lies. And a digital tongue can open doors to a harsh one closes them. White lies sometimes can be beneficial or leaving things in the air. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Like we
yeah.
were speaking about it in Muya in the background in the last videos with Muya.
Yep.
So sometimes you have to learn how to leave things in the air, throw out white lies through a gentle tongue so you can open a door, leave a door open. You get
Mhm.
me? An escape route for you out of a problem.
Yeah.
Um, or use a harsh one to close it and not get involved in things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this is what Kongen is teaching you at the end of the day. You get me?
Mhm. Got you. Copy. Copy.
And what else you got?
Whew, I don't got nothing right now, Bamboo. I ain't got nothing. It's
You
gonna
see
come
this
to me. It's
stuff?
gonna come to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna
yeah.
come
You
to me.
see,
I'm starting to
the
warm up a little bit.
people who see this later on and all this stuff, this is not written down or
Yep.
read from a book or any of that. This is, you know what I'm saying, from memory and life experience that we have with the codes.
Yep.
It's never been cookie cutter at the end of the day. This stuff has never been cookie cutter. But gentle tongue opens doors while harsh one closes them. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna be somewhat
Mhm.
harsh. I'm gonna close a bunch of you guys off of these codes at the end of the day, because it's not easy. You get me? This stuff's not easy.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes that's beneficial to have a harsh tongue and close a door for somebody. To tell them, look, you go down this goddamn path. This is the way it is, and speak. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell them the truth,
Yeah.
so they can make the right decision and close the door if they're not going to be consistent there to achieve their goals. You get me?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to think about that. A gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. How many people speak things? They decide to speak things to themselves gently, and they open up doors or open up processes, new ideas and goals that they have.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of choosing the reality of it, a harsh tongue. Speak also negatively about yourself to yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Don't always use the gentle one. You
Mm-hmm.
get me?
Yeah.
Because that's the truth. Many times in my head, I only see the good sides of me. But I got my wife who lets me know the bad sides of me. You see what I'm saying? I have God kids who let me know, no, padrino, these are your problems,
Uh-huh.
etc., etc., etc. These are the things you got to work on. You get
Mm-hmm.
me? And it can close the door. A harsh tongue can close that door for you to stop a probability or stop yourself from making yourself look like a damn fool
Yeah.
or get yourself involved in a problem. You get
Mm-hmm.
me? So tell yourself the truth. If you don't know something, be like, yo, I don't know it. Let me go ahead and close this door
Yeah.
harshly. I don't know that stuff. Then open up a can of worms or a can of
Yeah.
whoop ass to yourself. Get yourself involved in process that you might not be fitted for.
Mm-hmm.
And you get me? A gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. Also, what we speak to ourselves. So that's important.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes how you
Sometimes,
speak to the clients too. You got to give them a harsh tongue sometimes to get them on the right track, right path for sure. Because everything is not glitz and glitter out here. And you can't. And
yes,
sometimes you have people in front of you that you might not want to tell them what's really going on because you might feel a certain way about it. So at the end of the day, you got still got to give them that harsh tongue, tell them where they messing up and what you need to do. Get yourself back on track, and then that can open the door for them because they could be a lot easier on themselves because now they can actually see what's going on within their life.
which I like that. That has to do with acomplejita. In Spanish, the word is se acomplejan. So you see, a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. You have to understand who's across the Nkisi right there when they're sitting there in the room,
Mm-hmm.
who you're speaking to, because some people son complejita. In English, I don't know that word. Complejita means a person who takes things personal. Anything that you say, they take it personal. Um, I guess they're somewhat emotional within within any, let's say, judgment or yeah, that you judge or you criticize something, and they get all emotional about the situations. At the same time, other people are not. You see what I'm saying? They really need you to chew them out so they can open their eyes, and see beyond the box that they're in there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I tend to tongue opens doors so a harsh one closes them.
Mm-hmm.
The Kongenga means an illuminating rope that binds all things together. I know it has to do with prosperity and all of these things, et cetera, et cetera. 'Cause we got Muya in the background, conversating, et cetera, networking, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the tongue also, a gentle tongue opens doors so a harsh one closes them. It can refer to food.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And how good food can be, right? How delicious things can be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when it comes to you tasting something and opening the door for yourself.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, many times people let you taste and experience a culture, an idea, a conversation, and it opens that door. And that's the gentle tongue. You get me? The
Mm-hmm.
harsh one is the bitterness. You see what I'm saying? And they can back them off.
Yeah.
A gentle tongue opens doors while harsh one closes them. So within here, within this code, there's a bunch of medicine, all that stuff. We're not gonna get involved in that, but I at least want to dabble something. Here you can put it in kisi, manteca puerco, specifically to the encuyo, manteca puerco. Um, to lather him in these things. And you're like, what is manteca puerco? Is lard, pig fat, lard. And we know that the Afro-Cuban and the Latino or the Caribbean in general, all of this stuff within our foods due to the slave trade and the culture how it came to be, that is the secret. And even in Mexico too, they use manteca puerco, lard within the foods. And that's what makes it taste so good. So
Mm-hmm.
many people say, I don't eat pork, but they eat el congri. You see what I'm saying? They eat
Mm-hmm.
or el moro, right? It's like the dark rice, the Cuban rice, and many times they put manteca puerco in there. They put
Mm-hmm.
lard in it, and you don't know. You get me? So obviously, if you're cooking for people that don't eat no pig or anything, I don't do that. All right, let them know. "No, look, it's got lard in it." But within the culture, um, what makes the food taste so good is the lard. So you
Mm-hmm.
put that on the encuyo. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To sweeten things up and bring prosperity in. And I want to also let you know something. Oil represents life, while salt represents death. You get
Mm.
me?
Okay. Okay.
So that's one thing that you can use to, let's say, put that in fumba to work. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about La 75 they ever use pig fat to lather them because they lather with epo, right? Or red palm oil. But you can also lather. I know within our lands, we can use red palm oil, all that stuff to the include all these things if you want. I always do divination. But one thing is pig fat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Manteca puerco lard. And you're like, what do I mean? Yeah, that's what binds all things together. Eso frito, this, all the season, all of that. Pig fat has to be involved in there too.
Take fat.
It's the one that gives it that little kick. Awesome. You get me? And
Mm-hmm.
many times you see that everybody comes together when we go to eat, especially in the cookouts that we have within the, let's say, Hispanic culture. Los chicharrones, this, that, et cetera. And that's Kongenga. So when you see that they're cooking chicharrón and pig fat and all that stuff, and they're passing around, and you got the
Mm-hmm.
men there giving off stories about this and giving life experiences or teaching dominoes or any of that stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
live in the binary code Kongenga. You get me?
Jeez. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's
Man. Anyway, there's a
good
bunch of
stuff.
codes there. You get me? Which is true, right? Which is true of that. But I like that you said that. You have to be careful sometimes that you have to speak to the, let's say, the one who's getting the reading a little bit more firmly or decide to go a little bit more smoothly. It all depends on the other codes that are coming out, right? Like Itoko Yenyoka, anything that's bad, that's done bad to them is going to be beneficial at the end. Obviously, chew them out. Fumba telling you, everything that he hears badly, or you scream at him or any of that, it's going to be for his own good. You get
Yeah.
me? But
Mm-hmm.
that's Kitoko Yenyoka. So chew him out. You see Kongenga, and then you see Kitoko Yenyoka, you chew him out. Even though their safe patience has a limit, but one of the other messages there it says that. So if Fuma's already telling you how to transmit more firmly, speak
Mm-hmm.
firmly to him. The more you chew him out, the better it's gonna be for him. The
Yeah.
more the more that you lay him out the reality of life, the better it's gonna be for them. If they got, you see what I'm saying, that full codes there around like they got those full codes.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day. Which that's a whole different other conversation too. If
Yeah.
you see Kongenga, I'm gonna speak it through here. When we do readings, because obviously we have classes for it, but I'm gonna speak it. There is something that can be spoken when you do readings first person, all right? Second person, third person, when you're speaking to the client. Then Fumba lets you know that through code. All right, you can tell the client, my Fumba is saying this, and that. You get me? You're still
Mm-hmm.
speaking as a priest and what the Fumba is saying.
Yeah.
Other times you just speak like if you're the Mfumbe. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
That is like the first person. They're not speaking to Matambo, they're speaking to Mangasaya through what I'm saying. This is what Mangasaya is saying. But I never say that. I just speak. Like if I'm Mangasaya, right? Or if I hear something, I say it verbatimly. Exactly the way it said it, screaming or not screaming, etc., etc. And then you have obviously third person, you take yourself out of it and you put yourself in their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Um So you say, look, I'm gonna put myself in your shoes. I'm 25 years old. This is what's going on. Or I'm 32 years old. I'm going through this divorce. Or I'm 32 years old. I'm about to have children. And these are the things that I see, but these are the things that I don't see. And
Mm-hmm.
you only speak the codes through there. So you see what standpoint to transmit within first person, second person, or third person within the reading matters.
Yeah.
Um, and the codes let you know how to do it, how to transmit the message.
Mm-hmm.
And Kongenga is already letting you know that a gentle tongue opens doors to a harsh one closes them. You gotta see the other codes that come out to tell you what standpoint to take at the end of the day. Because communication is somewhat of an art.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on, I got people. Malekon salah to everybody. Many blessings. We'll do questions at the end and all of that stuff. But that's a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, now we can go to this one, right? Patience can elevate a man to the throne of the world. We can leave a person. We can say a person too, right? Patience can elevate a person to the throne of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in Kongenga y Kongenga. And you're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, how many men with patience, with discernment on what they speak, elevate themselves as a king to somebody's world? My godfather had a lot of patience and he chose his words many times wisely. And that's why he was a king in my world. Those
Mm-hmm.
father figures, those mentors, you get me? That they become kings with patience at the end of the day. So that's one interpretation, one way that you can see it within Kongenga, yeah, Kongenga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it as, especially like even growing up with my godfather, right? Not my godfather, but my grandfather. Okay, he was always a man of little words. Okay, so whenever he did speak, of course, it was gentle tongue. It was always with wisdom. Okay, but he would never rush into anything. I don't think I ever seen that man run to do anything, rush to do anything. Everything was just calm. Okay, but that also made him look like he knew exactly what he was doing. Like you just look at him, like yo, he knows exactly who he is, what he's doing, because he doesn't have any type of fear, any type of anything like that, right? He's just always in the zone.
Which I like that. Men are like that. My godfather was like that. He spoke. My godfather spoke. But I've come across men too in life that
Hmm.
they just about a few words. They
Yeah.
never tell you once again that they love you.
Hmm.
They never tell you that they're proud of you. And that's the father sons and life lessons. How
Yeah.
many fathers, you see what I'm saying? How many fathers don't tell their kids that they love them, that they're
Right.
proud of them?
Yeah.
So we got to take it back to that. A gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them.
Hmm.
Um, and patience can elevate a man through a throne of life. Some men, right, they choose not to speak but only to act.
Hmm.
It reminds me of that movie like Denzel Washington. You ever
Yeah.
seen that movie Denzel Washington?
I've seen a lot of movies of this. Which one are you speaking of?
The one that the boy wanted to become a marine or something like that. He fights with him or whatever. Like he worked for this company and he had this house and the boy and him arguing. He picks up a bat. He tells him, "I love you," this and that. He ended up dying. Doesn't Washington or him playing the character. He ended up dying. The son came back as a marine.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. It's like back in the day type of scene though,
Yeah, it
right?
was
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
back
yeah,
in the
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was showing fatherhood in the it's called Fence. I
Fences.
think that's what he said fences.
Fences. Uh-huh.
Fences.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that movie. It always you see this code reminds me of that
Yeah.
because some fathers are very stern, but
Mm-hmm.
they take action towards their children due to the fact that they love them. They want to get them ready for life.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? And then that's the truth of it. How many fathers are less rigid or strong with their daughters? You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We nurture them, we pamper them, but when it comes to our boys, oh no,
Uh-huh.
you are a boy, but one day you're gonna be a man. So once they see you 12, 13, 14, 15, all that, they see life differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of life lessons, a lot of things that I remember that I do now. Something that
Mm-hmm.
I do now with my son. And even with my daughter on certain occasions, but I pamper her more, and that's the truth of that.
Yeah.
My wife's a little bit backwards. Pampers the boy, and she's a little bit more rigid with the girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys can see that this all has to do with Kongenga, at least from the father's standpoint. Um, because we're rougher with them. Even though I do tell my son I love him, I kiss him, I play with him, this and that, and other
Mm-hmm.
times I'm very strong with him. But in that movie, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's only at the end that he told him that he said, "What do you think I do all this for? Because I like you?" You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I owe responsibility to you. Right? He says that stuff. I remember that movie. And that's the thing. You won't hold responsibility. Man doesn't hold responsibility for anything unless he loves you. We don't get involved in processes or we don't go through struggles or deal with things unless we love is worth it for us. If not, we're gonna be hell no. I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You get me?
Yeah.
And that's the truth. You get me? Many men, they're slaves. They slave their whole life. 9 to 5s, construction, whatever they do, blue collar, whatever they do.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Just to put food on the table. Those kids
Yeah.
don't see that. But I was there one day. You see what I'm saying? Don't see the sacrifices. Don't understand that the light bill
Yeah.
is due. See what I'm saying? That the water bill is due, and they don't appreciate their dads
That's
due
a
to the
fact.
fact that they see only the harsh words. So him always saying, "Clean your goddamn room, get yourself in order, stop monkeying around." You see,
Mm-hmm.
crushing. You see what I'm saying? Crushing those stages of being an adolescent or being a child, trying to mature them up as much as we can to, let's say, so they can be 10 toes down when it comes to being a man and handling life. Oh, he fell off the bike, get back up on the bike. You get
Yep.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
That thing in
Yeah.
us.
Yep.
Leave all that crying, get back on the bike and do what you got to do. There you see the mama there. "Oh, no, ain't to put on a band-aid. Yeah, band-aid. You don't need no band-aid or any of that. He's
Uh-huh.
okay. Clean it all, get back on the bike, and go back at it again,
Mm-hmm.
etc., etc. And that has to do with upbringing. And that's what I'm saying. Fatherhood, the father son, the life lesson is very important. And
Yeah,
patience has
absolutely.
everything to do with that.
Absolutely.
Because obviously we speak among each other, and I speak to other priests and other adults too, and they're not within the traditions or any of that stuff. And we see that being a father requires a whole lot of patience
Mm-hmm.
because you can't, and Andy was speaking about that in one of the lives, you can't give responsibility to a child that you know that can't handle it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Sometimes
Absolutely.
y- you do those things or you treat him so rough that you're breaking his soul because
Mm-hmm.
you're making him fail, and then on top of that you chew him out and you show no, let's say, patience
Yeah.
or nurturing towards that of letting him know, yo, it's okay to fail. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
How many kids, because I my father wasn't there, I can't lie to that, but I know it because I seen it when I was a child. My mom was there though.
Mm-hmm.
I used to play basketball, my brother used to play baseball, and you see him going up to bat, and the dad's there, you better hit the shit out of that damn ball. And he misses, he misses, he misses. You see what I'm saying? The
Yes.
dad can be mad towards him. You get me?
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. Or the kid starts crying or any of that stuff. You see the dad show more anger. Sometimes you also have to have a gentle tongue so you can open the door to a good relationship with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a delicate balance.
Yeah.
And that's what he had that. My godfather by nature had it. Anyway, he was a hell of a father. He had kids. His whole life he been raising kids, so he was a hell of a father.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes
one
that
thing that I
patience.
will always give to him.
Yeah.
I can never say that. My example of life when I was asking for it those nights when I was sleeping, and I got one, I got the best of the best due to the fact that
Yeah.
he knew when to build you up and when to tear you down. When
Mm-hmm.
I had my ego and I'm young, I'm a young buck, and I
Yeah.
can take on life, this and that. Oh, he loved that. He'll tear you down. Tú no sabes ni, you don't know nothing about life. You see what I'm saying? You don't know nothing. And that was the truth. I didn't know anything about
Uh-huh.
life yet because I was still not paying bills, staying with my mom, all of that. I was still in high school and middle school, et cetera, et cetera. And I see myself going through it now. You see what I'm saying? When I got these kids, I'm like, oh man, he was going through it. So that's another conversation we can have
Yeah.
about the father, sons, and the life lessons. We'll get now to the patience.
Okay.
The father, sons, and the life lessons. Think about that. It's just like the traditions. Like I was speaking in that live. You coming in to the tradition
Mm-hmm.
and the way that you see things is different when it's you constructing the ritual, having the God kids and teaching the
Yep.
responsibilities that have that you have because of that position.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, you're gonna dethrone your godfather. What I mean by that is that you're gonna be the godfather. Sooner
Mm-hmm.
or later, you're the one who's with the responsibility.
Yeah.
You and him will be in the same positions. You're gonna be in the same position that he is sooner or later, just like in life.
Yeah.
My dad, well, my dad wasn't there, but let's say the fathers who are there or are not there, let's say the ones that are there, the fathers that are there, they pay the bills, they do this, they do that, all of these things.
Yeah.
And then you're in middle school, high school, and you see the world in one way, and then it's your turn.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And you see life completely different. You see what I'm saying? And we always say in the Spanish community or in Spanish, say, no sé cómo lo hacen. Yo no sé cómo mi mamá lo hizo. Yo no sé cómo mi papá lo hace. Now that we're adults, we say that. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they did it. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's what
Yeah.
we say in Spanish. I don't know how the hell my mom did it with three kids, being single, this and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? Because it's me and my wife now, and then imagine my wife being by herself with two kids. Oh, I don't know how the hell she's gonna live, how she's gonna be able to fend for herself, et cetera, et cetera. So when
Mm-hmm.
we look at our elders, we always, you see what I'm saying? We got to think like that.
Yeah.
And when you start any process, anything, and somebody is teaching you, always think of Kongenga,
Yeah.
the father, sons, and the life lessons. That means a master and a student.
Mm-hmm.
Always think about it like that. You go
Yeah.
into a job and somebody's training you, think about it. The way that you see it is one way. The way that the master is seeing it is another. And one day you're gonna be training somebody
Mm-hmm.
because everything in rises and sets just like the sun.
Yeah.
And Kongenga is letting you know that. You get me? I think
That's
that's
deep.
what I'm saying. This is the
That's deep.
struggle of life.
That's deep. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's deep.
We can keep on going to father, sons, and life lessons. How many fathers or stepfathers? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the same to catch a step kid when he's 5, when he's 2, when he's 1, than to have step kids and they're 12, 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
It is not the same.
Yeah.
Right? And he's there providing for the mother, doing all of these, but doing all of this for the boy's mom and that family, and he's trying to build a relationship, a father, at least a father relationship
Yeah.
there, and the boy acts out, or you have difficult time bonding with him. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
You got to have patience because patience can elevate a man to the throne of the world.
Yeah.
But patience and perseverance. You get me? And there's no patience is one thing, but you got to have perseverance of all those little battles. Not the war. The war is never going to be won. But all those little battles dun, 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 that you're going through day in and day out, day in, day out. How to tie your shoes, how to do this, how to speak this and that, all of those
Yeah.
stuff with these kids. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
And this Kongenga, but patience can elevate a man to the throne of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me a lot with my son as well. You know what I'm saying? It's the same instance. Just constantly got to be on, especially now. You know what I'm saying? He's 4 years old. He think he knows everything, right? And just like you were saying, you think you have it all, but you really have nothing at the end of the day, right? You don't know exactly what's going on out here in the world, but he always wants to take control. So a part of me loves that about him because he's almost fearless in a lot of ways. The other side of me is like, man, you just gonna run out in the middle of the street and not look. You know what I'm saying? So it's just me, just having the patience to know that as you teaching them, one day that they're gonna get it. One day that they're gonna understand what you're saying. But you do have to have that perseverance, just continuous lessons over and over and over and over again to see them to kind of develop. So I see that, and then they'll look back and be like, "Wow." Like you were saying, I don't know how he did it, or at the end of the day, they're like, yo, he was right. He was right on the money when he was trying to tell me that stuff. So it's good. It's just one of those things of fatherhood. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make up what you either missed because my father wasn't in my life either. So everything that he wasn't for me, I try to be all that for my son. So it's just a process of life.
So let's think about that. Patience can
Mhm.
elevate a man to the throne of the world.
Yeah.
See it in this way too. Us as adults, us as masters, or let's say as trainees, like we're going to train somebody as an
Mhm.
employer, right? As a boss
Yeah.
of a company or of a position. Us as godparents,
Hmm.
but mostly as fathers. I'm going to say now as fathers, you got to take it in all there. You must have patience with what you're teaching,
Yeah.
because no matter what, you're gonna end up being in the throne of the world to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what do you mean? How many fathers get tatted up? Which there's nothing wrong with that. How many fathers smoke weed in front of their kids? How many fathers have guns to their kids? And not in an educational way. How many fathers play rap music to their kids and let them see life in a certain way?
Mm-hmm.
You get me? And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have the patience to really sit down and look at what you're teaching your kids, they're gonna make you the throne of the world and they'll follow in your footsteps every time.
Yep. Yep.
You get me? Because the same way you're teaching the good, you can teach the bad. And there's certain conversations that need to be had in different stages, not at young ages, because they'll find it something common. They'll be desensitized to things.
Yep.
And that's what's happening within the communities,
Mm-hmm.
within the Hispanic community, African American community. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying? Asians, et cetera, within America. When I was young, I was probably like 4 or 5 years old. My real father is nothing also to joke around with. Now he's a different person. Um, because of his decisions. And I can speak about that because nobody's perfect. But I do remember when I was young, he had this I think it was like a 38. And he had a Beretta too. But he had this 38 revolver. And we're in Puerto Rico in the back of the house. My mom's working. And my father grabbed the gun and covered my little brother's ears and told him to pull the triggers, teaching us how to already how to shoot at those ages.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? Obviously he used to smoke cigarettes, and he'll be smoking outside and he'll throw it.
Uh-huh.
He'll throw it, and you already know his boys going over there, go grab the
Go
cigarette,
grab it.
go on there. Because in Puerto Rico, the
Yeah.
houses are different. So it has stairs in the outside, and we'll go behind the stairs. Because they're made out of cement, it's not like here. Well, we were smoking cigarettes, I was an asthmatic. Smoked a cigarette, major asthma attacks. To the hospital, all of this, or we used to drink beer and all of that. And we're kids. So what we were seeing, we were doing. Um, and I pay attention to that. You get me now as an adult, I pay attention to it because there's things that I do that I see that my son does. There's things that I do that my daughter's picking up on. And we're not perfect as
Yeah.
people,
Mm-hmm.
as fathers. No, there's no freaking a manual to tell you this is how to be a dad. You can look it up.
Um,
You get me? Which this gonna be, we got a bunch of conversations here with this father stuff, but we're not perfect people, and our kids can pick up on the negative aspects of us. That's why my godfather, when I was younger, he told me, he always said, pick up what is good and leave what is bad. You see what I'm saying? There's things that I seen in my godfather that they were somewhat bad,
yeah.
right? On certain things. Um, when it came to teaching or this or that, whatever it is, I'm like, this was bad. I gotta replace it
Yeah.
with his failures here. But what is good, also a lot, 99%, very 99.9%. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I kept it. And the same thing goes when you go to a job
Yeah.
because they train you and they train you not the right way, the way that they know the fast way. How many
Yeah.
times you go on a training, you're supposed to follow these procedures or you're supposed to do it like this by the book so you don't get in trouble if people come down and audit the situation, the place or any of that stuff. But they teach you the fast way, the one with the experience. You get accustomed to that and they were training you wrongly. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And that's where the problems start to happen. So you got to look at it. Same with the God kids,
Mm-hmm.
because they're coming in and seeing the tradition one way. Yo, it is taboo not to be having shoes inside the Nkisi room. It is taboo for this, for that. But obviously, how many of us go inside our Nkisi room with shoes?
Yeah.
Everybody I know goes inside the Nkisi room with shoes. The priest. You see what I'm saying? But the newer ones, if you accustom them to that, they have always seen it like that, and you're diluting what the rules are within the linajes, et cetera, et cetera. Because
Mm-hmm.
nobody can tell me here, you see what I'm saying, that you take off your shoes every single time you go inside the Nkisi rooms. If you're like that, then you're like my godfather. You see what I'm saying? If you're like that, then you're like my godfather. Persistent. He's always consistent. Consistent, that's the right word. Consistency.
Mm-hmm.
within then keeps me very serious. No slacking and no little thing. But you
Yeah.
see, look at me. And certain things I know I slack on. And those are my failures. My God kids, my descendants look at it and be like, oh, Padrino or me, he does this and that. That doesn't mean that is correct. You
Yeah.
get me when it comes to yours.
Yeah.
And you see, at the end of the day, a gentle tongue opens doors while harsh one closes them. Don't be afraid also to speak and tell me, oh, Padrino, why you put your shoes up in here? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna tell you that was correct, and I'm gonna be like, I did it because of this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Other things I do not do, right, at all. I take them very
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
Um, but my godfather, even the little bits of change like that, ain't little, no, very persistent, very serious when it came to it. So you see, those he had really good things, and also you see me as a godfather, I had bad ones. So
Mm-hmm.
take it now to other aspects of life.
Right.
You get me when you go to teach, because my womb, you see, your son is learning
Mm-hmm.
from you.
Yep.
Think about the good and the bad that you're teaching him. Don't have just a gentle tongue. Also has to have the harsh one
Yeah.
to yourself and be like, I'm teaching him negativity also.
Mm-hmm.
And there's right stages to teach those things. Because as a father, we gotta teach him the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yep.
You get me? Same thing
Right.
for our God kids. You gotta teach them the good, the bad, and the ugly, how to defend themselves, how to stand up for themselves and stand up for others when things are wrong, et cetera, all of those things. But if you're Pinot Nuevo, you can't be arguing with a priest who's 78 years, within the tradition,
Right.
even though they're dead wrong. Even though they're dead wrong. Show the respect, all of that, and go find somebody. See, just find somebody that can set things correctly within that, et cetera, et cetera. So this code is there, the father, sons, and the life lessons. Now I do want to say something here. Everybody say that kids don't choose their parents, all right? Which is true, right? Some people are born in bad predicaments. Some people are born where their fathers aren't there. They don't give a damn about those kids.
Yep.
They doubt on paternity, right? If that's my kid or not. Drug atmospheres, very traumatic atmospheres when people are born,
Yeah.
right? Or at the same time, it's backwards too. The same way we say kids don't choose their parents, the same way parents don't choose their kids either.
Mm-hmm.
Many times parents we can as parents and as men we see our boys and we want them to take a path in life,
Mm-hmm.
you get me, but no matter how much we influence they're going to have to make the decisions at the end of the day.
Yep.
And this is in Kongenga, the father sons and the life lessons. You as a son, you see, that we're children, as God kids, all of this stuff, we have to understand that
Mm-hmm.
I didn't choose my godfather. That's the truth of that. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I didn't choose my godfather. My mother chose it, and I hit the lottery there. Maybe if I would have chosen him, Bacata. That's the truth. Many of you
Mm-hmm.
guys do choose your godparents. Some of you guys don't. Some of you guys come in already. Look, this is how it happened. It just happened.
Yep.
Um, I was 17, I was 15, I was 12, I was 8. I got initiated there because of my mom. How many of you guys initiate your kids in houses? You see what I'm saying? In your godparents' house. They didn't choose that godparent. You chose
That's
it
right.
for them. So when you got children and you're gonna initiate them in people's houses, understanding that you're choosing an elder for them. Same way you chose it for yourself, you're choosing that elder for your descendants, for your child, your children. So the ones in that situation, some people, I would say, children don't choose their parents.
Mm-hmm.
They can be good ones and they can be very bad ones, right?
Yep.
But we can flip it also. Parents don't choose their children. We can't choose what they're going to become. We can influence the most that we can, but at the end of the day, their decisions are there, and you're going to see it throughout life.
Yep.
People who sacrifice themselves are well established. They went through pain and suffering to give everything to their descendants, but that boy decided to take the wrong path.
Yep.
That girl take the wrong path. No matter how much you want to influence, you can't. And this speaks to here in Kongenga. That's why
Mm-hmm.
patience is very important
Yep.
on what to give and what not to give according to what timing and what you're seeing. You get me? Within the descendants. And also as the godparents or choosing godparents and choosing employers and choosing people,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
You get me?
Yep.
And I want to say that patience can elevate a man to the throne of the world, or patience can elevate a person to the throne of the world. It's referring to patience. You're like, what do you mean? How many of you guys, you start this new job, no patience, no communicating,
Mm-hmm.
nothing, and you decide to mix your personal life with your work life,
Yeah.
your boss or your co-workers in your house? Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
You decided for that man to have the position of the throne of your world, to sit inside your house, your world. You gave him the throne.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? Not everybody can just show up to your house. Not just anybody can intermingle with your family affairs.
Right.
A gentle tongue opens doors while hearts will close them. You have to speak to those people, develop a relationship in the beginning. And then once those things get a little bit, let's say, more stronger in it, and you have
Mm-hmm.
had the patience and the perseverance and consistency of seeing that, then involve them in your personal life.
Yeah.
If the relationship grows there, you get me? Because some men do that and they don't understand that some bosses, by nature, they do it. Let's go out to the bars. Let's come to my house for a barbecue. This, and that. And they
Yes.
sometimes mix the work with personal affairs.
Yep.
You get me? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they can put you up against the ropes. So this is the reality of life when it comes to Kongenga. You get me? And it
Gotcha.
all has to do with knowledge. Because knowledge leaves a lasting legacy, while ignorance fades to obscurity. That's the other code, the other thing that's there. So what do
Mm-hmm.
you think about that? Knowledge leaves a lasting legacy, while ignorance
Mm-hmm.
fades to obscurity.
Well, it's kind of like when you looking at books, right? The knowledge leaves a lasting legacy. Okay, while ignorance and sometimes we used to hold traditions by word of mouth, but the way people are doing it now, it's not going to hold the weight like it used to. So at the end of the day, you rather have the knowledge or maybe even the book, right? That's going to last throughout the time. You know what I'm saying? Even maybe even before or after you're gone from this world, you'll still have the lasting legacy that's going to be right there. Okay, and people are going to know that you weren't ignorant and you're not just going to fade away. So you'll always have that memory.
Which I love that, right? As teachers, as godparents, as fathers, as employers, or our responsibilities we hold in life,
Hmm.
it is our key duty to transfer over knowledge because knowledge is a lasting legacy and it builds on itself and it, let's say, evolves and
Hmm.
mutates to the circumstances always.
Yeah.
Ignorance fades to obscurity. And if, once again, you don't feed knowledge to your children, you don't feed knowledge to your grandkids, to your
Mhm.
godchildren, et cetera, to the new trainees or whatever you're training within your bosses or within your personal work lives, et cetera, you're making them
Mhm.
ignorant.
Yeah.
And ignorance fade into obscurity.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to withstand the processes of life. That's one thing that is letting you know that. Now, another thing that you see that it can be saying there is this too. You have to understand the difference between knowledge, intellect, and wisdom. Three different things. I have knowledge, I have intellect, and I have some wisdom. I can have more knowledge than my godfather with a bunch of things, but I will never outgrow him with him wisdom.
Hmm.
You get me?
Yeah.
Never. At the end of the day. And that's, let's say, the true power where it is at wisdom. Because
Mhm.
wisdom has to do with the knowledge. First, intellect is what absorbs knowledge.
Yeah.
Intellect, to know how to look for knowledge and the weak points, et cetera, et cetera. Knowledge is information.
Yeah.
And then wisdom is how to put all of that to work.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I can have knowledge over something, but do I know how to use it? So those books, like you put there, right? The scrolls of time, which I'm liking it.
Hmm.
I got mine there. The scrolls of time. It holds a lot of knowledge and there are certain things,
Yeah.
but there is missing a whole bunch of wisdom. One thing is to have knowledge, another thing is to know how to use it.
Yeah.
And many people read books, this, and that, but they have no practicality, no practice behind it.
Hmm.
Um, so you got to know how to use the knowledge, and that comes with experience and wisdom. That's why I always say you have to have an elder.
Yeah.
somewhere, somehow. Within life, you have to learn from somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
And life is easy to learn too. I could put a baby right here, not even send him to school, and it's gonna pick up knowledge.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? Develop its form of wisdom, but it's gonna pick up knowledge without even feeding it. Because that's what we are. We absorb, absorb, absorb. Everything that we see, we eat, we hear, we feel our experiences.
Yep.
That's what's really going on. We are what we eat, we are what we see, we are what we hear, we are what we feel,
Yep.
and that's
Facts.
the truth of that. Now, another thing within that, knowledge leave a lasting legacy while ignorance fade into obscurity, unless you know this. The recurring patterns. If you got the knowledge over something, you know how things are about to unfold. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? That should have left you a lasting legacy. Why are you now making a vice?
Yeah.
Why are you making now a habitual cycle? Like if you have ignorance, um, and get yourself involved in the same problem. For example, if you know that these type of guys have these type of outcomes, why are you hanging out with these type of guys or dating these type of guys? If you already know it, you've been through it already. You see the same patterns, let it go. But I don't know, some people, I guess, they let their emotions cloud their judgment. Same thing as a father. How many times have you taught your son something and then he still goes back over there and does it again?
Yep.
Didn't you learn from the first time?
Right.
And speaking about that, knowledge leave a lasting legacy. If you really learn something, you hold the knowledge, it's forever. You're never gonna make the same mistake over again.
Yep.
You get me?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I get people, they don't learn the knowledge from their experiences that they live, and they're still in ignorance, and that's why they fade into obscurity. They go back into the darkness, and they're going to deal with the same problem until you awaken yourself, until you see the light of knowledge and how to use it and put it to work. But like, okay, when I see this pattern, I need to go ahead and avoid it. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
And many people fall victim
Gotcha.
to that. And the dead be kicking this stuff out this code a whole lot. So you got to pay attention to it. Like patience can elevate a man to the throne of the world is already telling you, hey, have patience. You get
Mm-hmm.
me? That's one thing that it can be telling you.
Yep.
Or it can be telling you, hey, it's going to take time for this process. You get me? But
Mm-hmm.
you have to acquire knowledge. You have to learn how to speak and exchange this, and that, et cetera,
Yes, you
et
do.
cetera. But with this one is that one. Why are you falling victim to the same problem over and over and over again, making it a vice?
All right.
Which you don't want that. So that's what I'm saying. Many people persevere. They persevere through the obstacles or from the obstacle, but then once again, they find the same problem, the same obstacle, and they get right back into it.
Yep.
If you got caught with dope, you went to jail. You see what I'm saying? Now you're gonna come back out and do the same thing. Yeah, hey, that's all I had. That's all you had before. Find another route. Try to do another thing. You already know the outcomes. Some are gonna be like, well, now I'm smarter, which is true. You're
Yep.
about to learn. You're ignorant to the other aspects that you don't know about. You're gonna fall
Mm-hmm.
right back. Learn to calculate how things are gonna unfold. You get me? It has to do with in all aspects of life. Because life is full of processes. Everything's a
Yeah.
process at the end of the day. Musunika to gula lumemba. You get me?
That's deep. That's deep.
Now, when in Kongenga, we can go where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? Where there
Yep.
is smoke,
Absolutely.
there's a message to be understood. And that has to do, once again, you're seeing the same smoke. There's a message to
Mm-hmm.
be understood. And I got
Yep.
a million interpretations if you want to take it to the Father, Son, and the life lessons. Sometimes you look at your children, I'm going to use it negative, then I'm going to use it positively. Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood. The
Yeah.
boy is coming smoking weed, been skipping school, been doing this, been doing that. That's the smoke. You
Mm-hmm.
already know the
Yep.
path that he's taking. You see what I'm saying? He's the fire right now. He's
Mm-hmm.
burning up and you don't see it. So, as a father, learn to cool things down with your words. You see
Yep.
what I'm saying? Speak to him and guide him in the right way. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
But in a positive one is that where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood too. You might see your boy, he's 5 years old, and this boy is dribbling like Michael Jordan or what's it, Curry, like Curry. He's dribbling like
Yeah.
Curry, or he's firing. There's smoke already. You already seen him. Oh, this boy's talented in this. And
Mm-hmm.
this what he likes. He done found his niche. He done found that at early life. The father, sons, and the life lessons. Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood. This boy
Yep.
is hot as hell in this process in life. This is good. You see
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Now all you gotta do is with a teacher tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. Guide them in that way.
Mm-hmm.
You get me?
Yep.
That's one thing that you can understand by where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood.
Yep. And I could even break it down like to like the most basic, right? Like when I was in the Navy, they teach you about the different color smokes that you will see. Okay. If you see like a more bluish type of smoke, you know that's like a wire fire or something like that. You don't want to bring water to that type of fire, right? They have a certain type of foam to it. If you see like a dark black smoke, you will know it's either like wood or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So even that has a message, right? Just knowing what type of smoke that you're gonna get into. If you want the smoke, right? Make sure you're prepared for the battle. You know what I'm saying? Even if it comes with like fights or whatever the case may be, you know what kind of smoke that's gonna bring whenever you get into the certain circumstances or situations. You know what it's gonna bring. So are you gonna go to that fire, or are you gonna try to avoid it, or are you gonna try to be more prepared for what the fight is actually gonna be?
Which I'm loving, right? Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood. And that's already letting you know when you go to conversate. A gentle tongue opens doors while harsh one closes them. Sometimes people, before they start speaking and screaming at you and only that, where there's smoke, there's a message to be understood. Before they start speaking the fire and spitting fire at you and screaming at you and all those altercations between a father and a
Mm-hmm.
son or a teacher and a master, etc., etc. You get before
Mm-hmm.
that comes, you got smoke, and it's the
Mm-hmm.
gestures. You see what I'm saying? When you look at somebody and the demeanor's already pissed off, don't go over there and start the problems. Don't go over
Yeah.
there and provoke because you're gonna get that aspect of it. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, another thing that is letting you know that where it's smoke, there's a message to be understood. If you're seeing the smoke, obviously the fire is there. That what you can see is a part of what you see. Muya is there. The wind comes from somewhere when it decides to blow. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
Muya in the background. You're not seeing that the wind is coming from somewhere when it's deciding to blow. You're seeing the smoke. The wind's coming. Hey, yo, there's fucking smoke here. What's going on? The fire is
Yeah.
there. You get me? Because many times, if you guys ever been to a forge or any of those things, you don't see the fire, you can only see smoke. And it's
Yeah.
a signal.
Yeah.
Something's burning. You get me? Know that you must prepare yourself for it because the muya in the background is letting you know that already. You cannot procrastinate. The storms are coming, lo bento malo. You get me?
Mhm, mhm,
And many people don't understand that when it comes to conversations, when it comes to interacting with people or dealing with life process. You see Kongenga and any of those things, pay attention. Whether it's smoke, there's a message to be understood, and you got muya muya in the background. That what you can see is a part of what you see. You get me?
mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
So don't procrastinate. You know that there's a fire. So what you gotta do? Learn to cool. See what I'm saying? Learn
Yeah.
to get in an advantage position where the fire ain't gonna circle you up, etc., etc.
Mm,
Now, for medicine, there's a bunch. For escape, there's a bunch of things, right? Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood. Obviously, many people use the vultures, right, to send out messages, for divination, or send messages up to unfold processes in our favor. But other times, you don't need nothing. Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood too. Or you see what I'm
mhm,
saying? You can use smoke. You introduce the medicine in a fire or coal this or that for the smoke to burn up instead of having to use once again vultures this and that different forms of medicine. You get me?
yeah,
Another
yeah,
thing where there's smoke there's a message to be understood is letting you know that, oh yeah, mételo fulazo, because where there is smoke there's a message to be understood. That's what happens. It's a
yeah,
fulazo.
yeah,
Boom. That information that it burned, that smoke that leaves, it goes in the atmosphere within the
mhm,
world, and it's
yeah,
hunting down whoever needs to hunt down. That's why you gonna see many priests open up doors, do this, do that, to do those fulazos. So this intentions and all this information, right,
mhm. Go
can
right
take
up in
off like
there.
smoke.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
get me? Whether it's smoke, there's a message to be understood. So it all depends on when you're doing the consultation on the standpoints on how to really interpret things, which I call it filtering, how to filter the information. Which obviously we get involved in that personally. We speak those things within the
mhm,
classes or any of those things. But many people deal with these things at the end of the day. You get me?
mhm. And if
The
there's smoke,
fall of
there's
the
a message
sun
to
be
be
a life lesson.
understood. Yeah, yeah. Like if you go outside, there's smoke, there's a message to be understood. If you're outside, you're trying to put yourself in a more heated position, right? You're cold. You're not in your atmosphere, right? You got to understand what produces the heat, right? Your words. How do you heat things up? within your life by using your words. A gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes it. At the end of the day, so but with there's smoke, there's a message to be understood. How are you going to heat the words up in your life? How are you going to heat the people up in your life? Okay, because your breath gives the heat. If you're in a love situation, how are you going to heat that up if it's cold? You know what I'm saying? So learn how to speak in those certain manners as well.
And I like that. Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood too. One thing is to see the smoke, another thing is to smell it. So many times, think
Yep,
about
yep.
that. Hey, the father, sons, and the life lessons. They don't see you smoking the weed. What do?
Hmm.
They smell it. You get me?
Yep. Yep.
Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood. Because many times, that's what I'm saying. The smoke, you don't see them smoking. They show up smelling like weed. They show up smelling this way. You get me? And even
Mhm.
sexual intimacy, because you can smell it in the air. You're like, what do you mean? I'm like, if you
Yeah,
know, you know. You
you
get me?
know.
If you know, you know. You're like,
Right.
this boy, where you been at? And you can tell. So another thing is
Uh-huh.
that whether it's smoke, there's a message to be understood. And I went through it, so I'm gonna explain it through here. The father, sons, and the life lessons.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, this is so funny, but it's the truth. The father, sons, and the life lessons. We all go through this. It's Kongenga right here. Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood. Here you go. You got your
Hmm.
boy, you got your son. He don't like going to school. He don't wake up early to go to school or any of those things. Right? He wants to stay up playing video games, this and that. But now you see that he's waking up early and he smells different. Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood.
Uh-huh.
What's going on with this boy? His love. You get me?
Hmm.
That has to do with the boys in love now. The boy got a little girlfriend. He wants to show up to school early. He wants to be smelling good. He wants to get a haircut now, et cetera, et
Hmm.
cetera, et cetera. He's going through different stages of life because
Yeah.
we all went through there. So you see, when you see the signals, you're gonna know that there's a fire there. The thing is, what type of fire is it burning? Into what process? What type of trees is it burning? Where is it burning at? You get me?
Hmm.
Um, at the end of the day, which we go through this in life, all of us do. And I have that my experience with my godfather. He obviously he knew. He knew. He said, "Oh no, puppy love. Here he goes." You get me? Taking teddy bears to school and a bunch of horse crap used to joke at us. And one day, I'm gonna see it with my son. She's still young, but one day I'm gonna see it too. You get me? I'm
Hmm.
gonna see it with my daughter. Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood. You
Hmm.
get me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we can speak it in another way. So you can. We got a bunch of other stuff you can speak it. Where there's smoke, there's a message to be understood. I want to speak about the fathers and the daughters. Hmm?
Hmm.
Listen, when many daughters, like if fathers are stoic and they're not, let's say their relationship with their daughters are not as strong as it can be, where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood. And the dating ages start, where she got her boyfriend or any of those type of things, or her husband or any of that. Where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood. You get me?
Hmm.
And you're like, what do
Hmm.
you mean by that? I'm like, well, many times you get it, you see the signals within your daughter, the way that she's acting. You're like, is she in her menstrual cycle, or she usually don't do that? I see ice cream. I see her wearing these hoodies now. She doesn't put on makeup. She's in her room sleeping day in and day out, day in and day out. What's going on with my daughter? Where there is smoke, there's
Hmm.
a message to be understood. She's going through them heartbreaks. You get me?
Hmm. Yeah.
The thing is, this is another thing. If your daughter doesn't communicate with your mother too much or with her sisters as much because she was dating this guy, and we know that once those dating stages start to happen, all they do is talk and talk and talk. Then when things get rough, you start seeing the women speak with women, especially the girls. They do that, right? She starts speaking to her sister. You see her on the phone with her best friend more. You don't see her speaking to her boyfriend no more. Where there is
Hmm.
smoke, there's a message to be understood.
Yeah.
A gentle tongue opens doors while harsh one closes them. Learn to be a father, going gently to nurture that girl. You see what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
your daughter. You see what I'm saying? Show her that she need to value herself. Show her
Hmm.
that without obstacle is no success. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? You
Yeah.
guys, what do you mean? What do you guys mean by that? I'm like, yeah, many times puppy love and all that, those are obstacles that will lead us to success at the end of the day.
Hmm.
But it's the truth of that. because we live these experiences, and when there is smoke, there's a message to be understood. One thing is to see it within the circle of life. Another thing is to see it within the Nkisi room and then Nkisi throwing it out within interacting format that you're talking about rituals. Right? Sometimes
Mhm.
it does kick out where there is smoke, there's a message to be understood, and he's trying to tell you, hey, I want what you call I want cigars and this and that. He wants for you to smoke up the room. Masa, Yamutali, obviously that's for alcohol, this and that. Or any other masas, you see it there, he'll tell you he want alcohol. You also gotta want a nyoka over there that's specifically for Sarabanda. You gotta fucking feed Sarabanda a bunch of alcohol because he wants it, etc., etc. But it's a language, so you guys will get to know that stuff. But these codes are there
Mhm.
anyway. Within Kongenga, you get me? Where there is smoke, there's a
Gotcha.
message to be understood.
Gotcha.
So I always say, all these readers and all that, leave all that horse crap up out of it. Oh, this path, this, and that. So we can speak about that real quick too. At least this is from my standpoint. There's no right or wrong. Listen, because I'm gonna say it, there's no right and no wrong way of doing it. But I do
Mhm.
question because I always say practicality. If you go for a reading in Palo, what the hell are they trying to pull out your Sila and tell you that you're Sarawanda and Sitahayo and all of this crap when you're going there for a problem? You get me? Or when you're going there for an initiation. You see what I'm saying? They had nothing to tell you about that. In my opinion, if you know you're Shitakai and Sasi, this is not La Wucha and Five to know your guardian angel and Orishas and all of these things. If you're not gonna get initiated or those conversations are not had,
Mhm.
then obviously, why are you searching for that within the divination? You get me? It all depends on the divination system because Paulo has no right or wrong. But in my opinion, that's the way that I look at it. Um,
Mhm.
at the end of the day. Have I been a victim of that? Yeah, in the younger stages I was, right? I was a victim of it. But now obviously how I carry more experience and a little bit more wisdom um of knowing the intellect and the knowledge that I hold how to put it to work. There's no need for you to be pulling out your goddamn sealers if you're not even gonna get initiated or those conversations are not had, the rituals are not placed or any of those type of things. You get me? At
Right.
the end of the day, leave all that horse crap out the goddamn readings. Or we're here to try to resolve a problem. We got your problem. This is what Mangasai is saying, or this is what this Mfumba is saying for you to take the best route to resolve this problem. If there's need be medicine or it's decision. And I'm gonna say it right here, right now.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say it right here, right now. From my experience, 90% of the readings are decisions for to resolve the problems. They're decisions. 9% of them. The other 10% is where the insidas come in. You get me? So when people come to get readings to resolve problems, 90% of that is a decision they have to make. Decisions on how to resolve their problems or overcome or what they're not seeing and how things are going to unfold. You get me?
Mhm.
Another thing is when Fuma's saying, look, they got these problems, and that's what the 10%. Yeah, they got this problem, they know muerto culo or something like that. Or they need to do this so their health doesn't get messed up 6 months from now, or car accidents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And many times, if it's out in the future, you can resolve that in a room easily. It's so fácil. The occurrence is there. You can resolve a car accident by telling somebody, hey, if you're
Mhm.
such a good diviner, you can tell them, hey, uh, don't drive at night. Decision. You don't have to
Right.
run a ritual to decodify the occurrence. You get me, to make sure it doesn't happen. Sometimes there are decisions. You get me?
Mhm.
So people really got to understand about consultations and reading all of this stuff, or to understand this structure, all that is within the scrolls of time. And I always say, whoever buys the book and is trying to look for orientation, obviously sooner or later I'm not gonna have enough time no more. But when I do have time, I speak and I give out the knowledge because you don't know if this could save you at the end of the day. You get me? If you
Mhm.
got your inclusive any of that. But I do want to speak something real quick. I want to speak something. I know I've been speaking a lot because I do speak a lot. And there was a comment that I loved. I don't remember the person who posted. That's why I love when you guys do comments. And it was Jen something, 11:15 or something like that. Jen or something. It was Jen. Somebody put the comment there. And they were speaking about secrecy. The person who put that comment, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm loving those type of comments. and they were speaking about, aren't these things secret? I think is when I put the new book, the spiritual science of Inkisi Malongo, and they wrote it there, and I loved it. I loved it. And they were speaking about, shouldn't these things be secret? And yeah, these things should be secret, right? But one thing is to orientate, another thing is to give the secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been saying it since the beginning, and I'm gonna keep on saying it. We're all adults. You get me? If you're an outsider, how we spoke about it for outsiders, for Bajingas, the ones who are looking and then getting wanting to get initiated or et cetera. One thing is to buy these books for knowledge, which many people that are not even initiated has bought my books and they comment to me and say, "Oh, I like that you orientated over this matter," and I gained knowledge over it, but obviously I don't practice it because I'm not in Parliament. I'm gonna get initiated this, and this these days or whatever. See, many of the books that I write is to orientate, and another thing is for the priests who have la licencias, if they can introduce it into their linajes. If they can't stick with your lineage, I've always said that. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to speak about the secrecy because I left it there. The real question is, what I'm speaking to you, to me, is nothing. To you guys is gold, but the stuff I say is nothing to me. You see what I'm saying? It isn't it's just to orientate for me. The stuff that I don't speak. That's what you guys gotta be thinking about. The things that I don't speak about. You get me? That stuff. Because you can read, let's say the Bobby Bemba book, if your stuff ain't well built, if you had no licenses, if you don't know what you're doing in reality, you can draw whatever female you want and it ain't gonna have effects, or you can find yourself in problems within it. And I'm hoping they're adults, right? Because if you're buying books or this and that, anyway, you should be an adult. You have credit cards or debit cards and all of these things, banks and all of this stuff. So as an adult, you should always make the right decisions. Why I'm saying this because of all the sons and the life lessons. You get me? And a gentle tongue opens doors while a harsh one closes them. Let
Yeah.
me be speak gently, but at the same time be a little bit more firm when it comes to these situations. So I can live the code too. Um, Secrets is one thing, another thing is to orientate.
Mm-hmm.
I do give what people consider secrets, and it's the truth. It should only be for insiders, but I already told you, even for insiders, you're like, what do you mean? Even for people who are initiated, I don't speak certain things to them at all. You're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, if you're from a different line, there's things I don't speak at all.
Mm-hmm.
Secrets that are only within the lineage. My Wungunosuke is part of the lineage. And vice versa. I've been to other houses, some priests, they speak things, other things they do not speak because that's part of their lineage. And they're not gonna give it off. And that's the truth of that. You get me? Um, at the end of the day, one thing is to orientate or to speak, because here I'm speaking to not just outsiders and gayos, etc., from a bunch of different linajes, but I'm speaking also to priests. And the priests have the wisdom on how to use the knowledge. They have the experience on, oh, this is what I'm missing. Oh,
Yeah.
let me see if I can this understanding. You see, to better themselves. I always try to give information for those people, the ones who are truly practicing.
Yeah.
For outsiders coming in, you really are not gonna know if you're gonna practice this fully or not, because you haven't seen the tradition fully. You haven't been in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you like the lifestyle and the culture. You get me for the engagos, still you haven't seen, you don't know what it is to have an Nkisi you run through these rituals or any of that. Yo, Pino, no, you got this shit yesterday. You get me? One thing is to get immersed in knowledge, be like, oh, okay, look, this exists, this is that, to question things, all of that. Another thing is for you to take it to practice. Once
Yeah.
again, same thing as me. I study La Ocha, study Ifa, it's part of the culture. But you're not gonna see me throwing no goddamn opale. You're not gonna see me throwing no cocos, like obi, actual coco, to my Nkisi or to no Orisha, because I'm not no Santero or any of that. If I want to be that, get the money, find a good godparent, and I get initiated. Anyway, I won't do those things because obviously I'm loyal to what I'm already a part of. I'm here till the day I die already. That's my decision. There's nothing wrong with jumping lands or any of that. But it is the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's the sancocho, that's the negative. Doing things and knowing you don't hold licencia and you have no consecrations within those lands or any of that stuff. One thing is again to orientate yourself within those other traditions or within this tradition. Another thing is to put it into practice. This is
Mm-hmm.
not. And even I still believe hoodoo's closed off because I think anywhere you go, you need to have a master somewhere. Everywhere that you go, you need to have somebody that teaches you in a community, in my opinion. But to each his own. This is not, let's say, free spirituality where you can just buy a book, like I guess a pagan book, or I don't know, any book, and
Mm-hmm.
read it and start practicing. This is not that. You're gonna come to terms with it once if you're initiated and you're in your house, you're gonna come to terms with that. Oh, there's a lot of conversations that these people are not having
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube that we're having offline. A lot of things that are deeper, a lot of stuff that matters, and then that's through phones and all that. If it's in person, the miscellaneous things that are never spoken that is called the practice. And you're never gonna get that from a book. All the stuff that I'm speaking, only the ones who understand this system are known can really grasp it, can really understand what I'm speaking about. I'm like, look, if you get this other code, if you get this, if you get that, if they have someone with the system or they heard about it, they studied them in the classes. The ones who haven't, you guys be like, what the hell he means by other codes? What they mean
Mm-hmm.
by this? What he you see? None of that you guys are seeing. How to catch those shells and really orientate them. One thing is what's in the book, another thing is what is in reality, the practice. Because everything can get put in books, everything can get put on videos. It is in the
Yeah.
heat of the moment. For those things, you have to have licencia. One thing is that we're saying, look, you need to have 21 Paulos. Do you really think people have 21 Paulos in the Nkisi? No. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
People have more. You're like, what do you mean? Yeah, 21 Paulos around there, but they have 4,000 Paulos in powder inside the Nkisi. See, you don't know that. You see, some don't have no Paulos, none of that at all. Because the treaties and different things. And why this and why that. You see what I'm saying? Only those who are in the practice and have la licencias, they understand the things deeper. Outsiders are gonna hear things, see this, and try to figure it out. It's okay. You see what I'm saying? That's the whole purpose of these videos to orientate the tradition and give a little bit of light. You see what I'm saying to a deep cavity. And that's why I love that comment that's why I be reading the comments. I be paying attention. You get me? At the end of the day, now weird ass comments or anything, up out of there. I don't got time for you're gonna get the harsh tongue. You know what? You're not even gonna get a tongue. You're just gonna get action behind it. You're
Yeah.
gonna get momentum behind me. Boom, get up out of here. We like clean atmospheres. Mature adults. You know what I'm saying? People who are mature. Because life, we don't have time to be wasting on bull crap. Well, I don't have time for that. You see what I'm saying? I don't have none of that time. Many of these priests, we don't have time for be bull crapping. You get me? Wake up at the end of the day. But secrecy is one thing, you see what I'm saying? And that's the truth of that. Secrecy is very real within these traditions. And I'm gonna say it again. It is not no cookie cutter. You're gonna only come to see the tradition differently when you're in it. When you are in Kishi, when you start interacting with other priests and you start to see it for yourself.
Yeah.
This stuff has never been cookie cutter. This is not Christianity where everybody practice the same. Whatever denomination of Christianity you practice, everybody goes to the church. We all gonna read from the Bible. It don't work like that at all. You
Mm-hmm.
get me? At all within
Nope.
these traditions. The concepts are somewhat the same. When it comes to the practice, it's completely different. Within the lineages, within our individual houses too. So, and the politics, all the stuff that's involved in these things. So, once again, if you're an outsider looking in, you get me? I'm gonna go ahead and give you a gentle tongue. So open your doors to true understanding and close the door with this harsh, little stronger words of ignorance. You see what I'm saying? Close that door too. Close the door to ignorance, open the door of knowledge. But only with this patience, because I'm gonna speak patiently here. There's gonna be a few that are not gonna listen. All right, there's gonna be a few that are gonna be like, I don't care, I'm gonna go buy me a pot, put some sticks in it, do this, do this, do that. If that's who you are,
Yeah.
right, that's gonna be you. Is your life. You get what I'm saying? That's your life. What you choose to do and do whatever you wish to do. That's up to you. You
Yeah.
get me? Um, you're gonna have good things for you. You're gonna have a bunch of bad things. The only thing I can tell you is be careful. These things are serious. You get
Mm-hmm.
me? This stuff is very serious. The realm is already weird without the tradition. You're like, what do you mean? Think about it. Look around. Be like, look, I'm here. The weirdness of the realm is already here. Phenomena all over the goddamn place. I'm here speaking through this phone to a bunch of people. Different times too, because a bunch of people might not be on anyway. They're gonna hear me later on. And now you want to toy around with spirituality that's even weirder. There's already phenomena with that heavily. put yourself in a noose around your neck easily, or hurt your loved ones or any of that. It's very much easily for you to do things correctly. Have patience. You see what I'm saying? Patience can elevate a man or a person to the throne of life. Have your patience. Find your godparents. Ask, understand your lineage, the history, the politics within it, and grow. See what I'm saying? Once you gain your knowledge and all of that, you're gonna see things differently. Also, have your community and be a good standing member within those houses.
Yeah.
Contribute to them because you're gonna be a part of that. You done became a star. As soon as you get initiated, you're already a star within the traditions. You are a part of these traditions, keeping them alive, and they're giving
Yeah.
you the honor. You get me? And that's the truth of that. What you got, Marvin? I'm sorry, I had to go on a little rant.
Nah, you killing it. You killing it right now. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, um, for me, it's all about how you're being perceived. Okay, especially when speaking about Kongenga. That's one of the ways that I keep it in my memory. How are you being seen? How are you being perceived? How are you speaking to people that's going to either open their eyes or it's going to shut them? Especially us Black Americans in this country, our eyes have been shut for so long, right? And we're just trying to give you that gentle tongue to open the door up for you, okay? And then at the end of the day, we want you to put yourself in a position where you can start to gain wisdom. Not saying that you're going to get it directly from here, but put yourself in a position where you can get it, whether it's in Paulo, whether it's in whatever, La Ocha, whatever the case may be. You had the opportunity to see that, hey, there's more to it than what meets the eye. Like Buddha always says, part of what you see is also what you don't see. So what you're not seeing is what you thought you were seeing before. We're just trying to open your eyes a little bit so you don't see that anymore. And you can get it out and pull it out and be like, all right, this is what I really want to look for at the end of the day. Because if there's smoke, there's a message to be understood. So we're giving you the signals, we're giving you the smoke so that you can see, hey, this is what you need to do if you really want to dive into this thing, if you really want to be a part of this. This is what you got to do.
Which I like that. And this, you see what I'm saying? There's a bunch of topics I think I should speak them or I should wait. I don't know. But this is for the priest to understand. Yeah, I'm gonna speak it. It's okay. Let's speak this stuff because this needs to be spoken. Which I've spoken this with other elders, within private group chats, all of that. Elders that have experience, have houses, et cetera, et cetera. And it's specifically here about Palo. You get me? Palo and Kisimalongo here in the States. We have to understand that we are in a new age. And that's the truth. Palo and his new age. Palo had his new age in Cuba, the slave trade, and how it got formed. And Palo's happening there as we speak right now. They're keeping the tradition alive. But here in the States, things are different within this tradition. And why do I speak that? Because there's a lot of differences. This tradition carries culture, and all of the traditions carry culture, and it's Afro-Cuban culture. It's the
Mhm.
Cuban culture is there within the language, within the Odums, within the Inkisis, how they built all of this stuff, the way that we speak, et cetera, et cetera. Now we're in a new land. We're here in the States. People that have never grown up with the Cuban culture, are not getting involved in the practice, which I support. And I support it 100%. But obviously, um, it's gonna dilute, or it's gonna. I don't want to use that word because it has a negative connotation. I rather use, instead of bringing it down, I'm gonna use the word evolve. It evolves it because obviously, if we speak to somebody, oh, is in Malongo or the way that we do things in Paulo and Cuba better than Africa? I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna be like yeah, same thing. Afro-Cuban local me for me that culture and my opinion is better than Ishesha in my opinion. You get me? It has a better taste because it's somewhat of a sancocho. You get me? It's a
Mhm.
mixture of things,
Yep.
and I support for it. So now that we're here in the States, African Americans are the only people that speak English. or even Mexicans or this, whoever it is, even Puerto Ricans, et cetera, even though it's similar culture, but it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
You can only really dive in deep into the tradition, like the way people are speaking about, oh, I'll practice palo, this and that. We don't practice palo the same way they practice in Cuba. Um, and certain things we practice it better, and other ones obviously has been diluting or evolving. I'm use that word, evolving,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not within those politics. We don't live in that land. The Fumbas are different too. Things have changed. The rituals have changed. Things are different. You get me? In Cuba, you can run a ritual. You got no problems. Here, you got problems. Things go evolving, and as priests, we have to understand. I'm speaking to the priest. Um, to understand where we at as a community and how these things are evolving, and our responsibilities for the neophytes and the outsiders that are coming in now, and for the Apollo 50 years, 10, 100 years, 150 years, 300 years from now. Where is it going to be at? Because we're not have none of us are going to be here. I'm telling you that right now. We're going to be leaving. But what are we doing for the English community? You get me? And how things are evolving, the importance of it. And that's the truth. Because things have evolved within these lands. You get me? I speak in my Kisi room Spanish. There's only one Fumba, two Fumba I speak English to them. Some of them I speak. There's one I speak Haitian to. Obviously, I got a Haitian in there. You get me? Sac passe. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
What's up? You get me? To
Yeah.
him. Anyway, then Fumba understands any language, but you always want to speak in his language so you can bond with it. But you guys are not seeing the Cuban culture, the language, the songs, the way of life, the foods. How many of you guys have eaten a homodo? As African Americans, you gone to your godparents' house and you eat a homodo. You see what I'm saying? Or heard the music that we listen to, et cetera, et cetera. Sooner or later, that will evolve. You guys won't. You see, that's the part. It's part of Paulo Ochanifa
Yeah.
outside the rooms or any of that, but the culture's still alive there. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
And now, as priests, as African Americans, right, as whites too, that are within the tradition, this and that only speak English, your culture is different within your home. You get me? And the ones that are coming see things differently. You get me? And we know that the Cuban culture got all the traditions involved within their natural life, within their natural process, within their culture. Yanguina and all of these things. You see what I'm saying? Alakwa is involved in all of that stuff. Machimo, all of these things. Within over here, things are different.
Yep.
You get me? I know there's Paulo houses within here in the States, smoking weed, bum bum bum. Different music is being played outside the Inkisi room. You get me? Beyonce or whatever you want to, whatever music you see within that culture, they don't live that in Cuba.
Yep.
You get me? Many houses are not living like that in Cuba. So you see, the way that you're growing up within the tradition is one way. And I spoke to a great elder, and he used these words, and I'm loving it. Right? He said this. He said, "Madamba," he said, "Matamba, the tradition evolves out of necessity, not out of convenience." And that was Brother Oba who told me that. He said things should evolve out of necessity, not out of convenience. He said that to me, and I agree with him. But I'll add to it also, it has to evolve out of practicality too. You get
Mm.
me? As
Yeah.
priests that were here in the new lands, I have both. You see what I'm saying? I'm in both because I've been to houses that is not like where I came from, where it was just Cuban, Spanish, everything was in that culture where I grew up in. I've walked enough and I've seen different things. You see what I'm saying? And the tradition, once again, is evolving. If it's going to evolve, their elders, right? Many of them are agreeing it should evolve out of necessity, just like it happened in Cuba. Everything evolved. Their cultures and their traditions evolved out of what? Necessity, because they were slaves. You
Mm-hmm.
get me? Not out of
Yeah.
practicality. You get me? Now, I'm gonna say it again. I add to it. My bad. Not out of practicality. Um out of convenience. Things evolved out of necessity, not out of convenience. Things should change out of necessity, not from convenience. But I add to it practicality. You get me? Practicality has to be there, not just
Yeah.
necessity, in my opinion. So, what does this have to do with any of this? Well, let's say the language. Is there a necessity for you to speak English? No, go learn Spanish. You see, that's what some people can take it as. And I'm somewhat against it because things are different within here in the States. I'm not saying to change the roots and take away the Cuban out of it. I'm not saying that because it's always going to be there, but sooner or later we'll evolve to that. You get me? Sooner or later things are going to evolve within linajes. I'm gonna do my best to keep it as much as I can. And when you guys are going to be like, well, it's always going to keep the Cuban culture. No, it's not. If you're here in the States, your descendants sooner or later are not going to speak Spanish. How many of your kids that are Cuban are born here or born in Cuba and came over here don't speak English? And if they do, two generations down the line, are they? Hmm?
Right.
The tradition's still going to be there. Let's say if they're still following the path, but the language is not going to be there.
Right.
Things are not going to be there. Things always evolve. You see what I'm saying? I look at my kids, obviously, I want them to speak Spanish, the father, sons, and the life lessons. At the end of the day, this has to do with Kongenga. All of these things, but we have to also leave room for things to evolve.
Mhm.
And that's that bickerman fight within us priests on our time that we have here. See what I'm saying, Mawunga? One thing is what you're hearing from me, what you're hearing from your godfather Tatazongo, and another thing is what you're going to be teaching your son
Yep.
and what you're going to be teaching your grandson, and how things have kept evolving since then.
Yep.
And that's the truth on the times of what is happening. You get me?
Yep. Got you. Got you.
And this is for all priests. Um, Paulo here in the States, we're in the new world, man. This is the new world. Just how we say the diaspora happened, this is the new world, the slave trade, we're right back at it in the same way, somewhat.
Yep.
Obviously, there's no slaves or any of that, but I'm referring to is being molded again with different cultures. Um, and it's gonna adapt to wherever it is. But the only thing that must stay alive once again is the concepts. That cannot die. Concepts and lo linaje and those things, the origin places of where this stuff is coming from. Politics is gonna evolve. That
Yep.
elders are gonna change things. You guys are gonna initiate the outsiders or newcomers, and those newcomers, what they're gonna do? Change politics to their times of what is benefit to them at those times, which I agree. Have I met other priests within that they're Hispanic only and all of that stuff that they say, oh no, I only initiate family members of mine.
Mhm.
Yeah, they work the tradition, but they only initiate family members
Yep.
due to the fact that they want to keep the traditions, their that linaje and those things, the old ways. There is a pro and con to that. The pro is obviously you kept the old ways of doing things. The con is to it that if it doesn't evolve sooner or later, it won't be potent enough to resolve problems. You get me? It won't be potent enough to resolve the problems. And you guys be like, what do you mean? I'm like, listen, I'm gonna say it again. The power that they were running in the slave trade is nowhere near the same that we're doing now. Those people didn't have cars, those people processes and politics within the natural life, everything was different. You get me? Those people had different problems than what we had when they were constructing Palo. And their medicine and their understanding of things, concepts are still the same, many stuff is still the same. But the way that they understood the medicine, how to resolve problems is a lot different than now. If I go, let's say we can pick out un mayombero, un brimba, un hueso from the first old head that was born in the late or early 1800s or late 1800s. You think that we're aliens, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
because the information and the way things have evolved is completely different. Cars and this and technology, everything is different.
Yep.
Everything has been evolving. The tradition evolves to its time. You get me?
Yep.
And that form of medicine is not potent unless the priest in that infumba has knowledge to be able to resolve them. So
Yep.
that's why I keep saying things evolve to the culture and the society. That's why it's there. One of the rules that the infumba must always follow is the rules, the laws of the land.
Yep.
You're like, what do you mean by that? Yeah, like my divination. Kongenga ye Sambia, right there, right? Person be smoking weed, this, and that, bum, 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 bum. If I see that within a court process, you see what I'm saying? Oh, yo, you're gonna go to you're gonna go to court. How many times in the let's say 1900s, early 2000s, people were going to jail because they had an ounce of weed or this or that? You see, that stuff can't be coming out any longer for me if you live in a state that is legal for you to smoke marijuana. It has evolved. In the divination is there and not there no more. You get me? It changes. It evolves. Um according to its time. Think about it. Think about the slave trade. I don't know. You think those slaves were smoking weed? Hmm?
If they get their hands on
I don't know, right?
it.
You think those slaves were doing
Yeah, you
cocaine? They
don't
were
know.
doing heroin. They were
Nah,
doing all of
definitely
that. You
wasn't
think
doing
that,
that. Nah, nah, nah.
right?
Absolutely
So
not.
if that stuff is in the odors of Ifa, think about it. Did that get added
Hmm.
on, or did it just magically just appear? You get
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah,
It got added on. Everybody knows that. The lower levels, they're gonna let them be. But the priests,
yeah,
the people who know what I'm talking about, it evolved to its time.
yeah.
Um, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to evolve alongside with it. You get me? We have to evolve
Hmm.
alongside with it.
Yeah,
Um, and it's our responsibility to steer that correctly. It is not just my job. My job is within my linaje. You get me?
yeah,
I'm saying as a collective within your individual lineages, understand the position that you're in here within the states
yeah.
and how things are evolving. Because I already told you, my godfather house, none of that English or any of that stuff was in those rooms. But I've been in other houses where it was English now. You get me? They were speaking English.
Yeah.
Muerto speaks anything, but the dead are going to understand you. It don't matter the language, but it has to do with culture. It has to do with what you're seeing as you're growing up through it. That's what I'm
Hmm.
referring to. The ways that we do things, the foods that we're eating, the music, the conversations, and the problems that we're dealing with. The
Yeah.
problems that I deal with now are not the same problems they were dealing once again in the 1800s. When it comes to matrimony, when it comes to raising kids, when it comes to dental care, when it comes to tumors and cancers, when it comes all of that stuff didn't exist. Here we do HIV, saving people from AIDS and a bunch of diseases, all of that. Did they have that back then? Hmm?
No, no.
See, things go evolving according to its time and the problems. And us as priests, we have to understand that the tradition evolves, and it is our responsibility, once again, I keep saying in our lives, to understand where we at within time, what are the situations that we're involved in, and how we're going to leave it to our descendants within this tradition is very important. This is Kongenga ye Kongenga,
Yeah.
the illuminating rope that binds all things together. Right? We call it Singa Dikana Gaho, the biogenetic rope, how it's the spiritual biogenetic rope, how they refer it, the linaje, the lineages. See, master to apprentice, master to apprentice, etc., etc. I can't be here changing things for other linajes because those are not my linajes. That's the truth. I have no say into any of those things. But as priests, we can delegate and speak how things can change or what are they doing or what they're not doing or what they're seeing change within the newcomers. You get me?
Yeah.
Like one thing that changed, I'm gonna give you guys one thing that I've changed. See what I'm saying? That my godfather changed that. We know spiritual breakages, right? All right. Back in the day, butt naked. Everybody knows that. Everybody's butt naked. Completo, completo. Everything from head to toe, whatever you got, is gone. It's broken. But nowadays, it's not like that no more. Nowadays, hey,
Hmm.
you're a woman, wear double clothes. Here's extra masa mamba. You get me? Um, Women do it to women. Yeah, that's true. Women do it to women. Men do it to men. That has always been there. But things have been evolving. You get me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Things have been adjusting to its time. etc., etc., etc. You think I don't know bottles, how we bottle up spirits, this and that, pictures, all of that. Back in those days, ain't none of that stuff. See, things
Right.
have evolved. You get me? Or even we're in the Congo. You get me? The way we have pictures of everybody and this, and they didn't have none of that. The way that we pick up information, none of those things have evolved. I keep saying it, but just for people to understand where we're at as priests. I'm speaking to the priests and even the newcomers that are newly initiated or about to receiving keys to understand your responsibility within the tradition, the seriousness that the way that you practice, your descendants are going to learn from you, and the
Yeah.
way that you teach and the knowledge that you hold. That's why is I'm gonna say it again. It is our responsibility to teach and to orientate. One thing is to get secrets, another thing is to orientate. If not, we're gonna keep having problems. I know people are gonna say, "Oh, the elders died and they died with their secrets." That's a bunch of horse crap in my eyes. Because if they did
Yeah.
that, that's one bad thing that they did. Why? Once again, because if you're an elder and you understand the seriousness that you're involved in as a tradition to keep it alive, you must feed it to responsible people. So you mean to tell me everybody back in the day was irresponsible? Hmm? You mean to tell me everybody, not one son, nobody, everybody was a low life? Hmm?
Hmm.
I don't think so. There was people. Always masters have esteemed students. You
Yeah.
get me, and they're gonna teach what's important, what to keep alive, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
The secrets that they say they died off, they didn't die off. They got moved over. Many people are not online. Many people have their mouth quiet. Many people you don't know about that practice these traditions. I'm telling you, a bunch. Go down to Miami. Ahí todo el mundo tiene caldero. In Miami, everybody practices this some way, somehow. Everybody. Everybody knows that. New York, I don't know, but I know because I lived out there in Miami. Everybody, todo el mundo sabe esto. Anyway, Miami speaks Spanish. You go there, everybody speaks Spanish. It's crazy.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's
Sure do.
literally Cuba. It's literally Cuba. Everywhere you go, everybody speaks Spanish. So you see, things evolve to its time. Do you have anything? I don't know if they have questions or do you have anything?
Nah, I'm good, man. Buta, he gave me a world of knowledge right there, especially the people who's watching, man. So I appreciate it. That was deep, very deep.
Which is true, shit, and it's our responsibility.
Hmm.
I have African American god kids. I understand the position that I'm in, and I need to make sure that they get the best out of me because they're gonna initiate people that
Hmm.
don't speak a lick of Spanish, none of that didn't grow up with the Cuban culture, any of that. It is my responsibility to make sure that they know what they're doing, to keep the
Yeah.
concepts and our tradition within Brimba Mulemba, within our linajes and stuff alive, our history too.
Yeah.
Ustata aquí con ye, kusimakumbi. You get me? All of these
Hmm.
things, the importance of the stuff and how things are coming down to be.
Yeah.
Because one day he's not gonna be here, one day I'm not gonna be here, one day you're not gonna be here. Who's gonna be left? It is all of our decisions.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
And that's for La Ocha ni Fa. I'm telling you, if you speak Spanish and you go when TikTok or YouTube, you're gonna hear them boys killing old dudes left and right. Boys are them people. That's what they do day in and day out. English community, nothing. Only one or two you might hear that they have a little bit of strength. They're weak, weak. So you already know that the divination, 4 or 5 generations, or not even four, 2 generations, 3 generations down the line, if they don't teach old them, they don't memorize, they don't do what they have to do, how to do their books, how to do that. If I ain't gonna be affected no more. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna have to
Yeah.
stick with the Cubans, go because in Cuba's still evolving. It's there. That's never gonna die off. Those los Cubanos, that's gonna be there to the end of time because they're very patriotic and they love their culture. And those people are very intelligent, et cetera, et cetera. They're not gonna make sure that don't die off. I can guarantee you. I'm speaking for the United States of America, the English speakers. You
Hmm.
get me?
Yep.
Your
That's
father is not
cat.
gonna be strong. You're gonna have to go see the Cubans. You see what I'm saying? That's the truth. Or people who study that. Us as elders, can't we change? Can't we teach? Can't we
Yeah.
orientate within other languages? And that's the truth of it. Because once again, no matter if you're La Ocha, Ifa, or even within Palo, this stuff can save. And we're here within the Father, the Sons, and the life lessons. And only when you're a diviner and you understand, you get that client that comes to you and their son's dying or the daughter is dying or they have issues and problems within the house of those kids. That's some serious stuff.
Yeah.
You get me? And these things
Mm,
save. So we have to adapt to the times and be able to orientate our descendants correctly. You get me?
got you.
It said it's strange how tonight's topic is relevant to me today and where there's smoke. I got you, Chris. You get me? Pay attention. Pay attention. To that. I'm gonna go ahead and if you let me see if they have questions. You guys have questions? I guess they don't. I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys with and sing that Dikenga ninga gato bukako. Always uphold our traditions by making the right decisions for our tradition. Mavungu is up to you. Whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I just say the same thing. This is when I see this going on, when I see these conversations going on, it's always just to open your eyes, man, so you can see what's out there for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I know there's a lot of people, and I spoke with people who want to be priests. You know what I'm saying? Who want to get into the tradition. I just said, hey, make sure you go into this thing knowing what to look for at the end of the day, knowing what's out there for yourself, so you can build yourself up. So yeah, that's it, man. Catch me on Feel Your Soul on TikTok and go from there.
Yeah, yeah. Follow him on TikTok. I'm gonna say it again. I look at the comments. Leave comments. Give your experience. I'm gonna say it once again. We're all people. Just because I have this hat, he has his hat. We're initiating Paulo does not make me better than you. You get
Hmm.
me? Just because I hold this knowledge does not make me better than you. A better person or this or that. Don't look up to me. Don't look down at me. See me for who I am. What I can offer you to for you to contribute to your own life. Because
Yeah.
the truth is that I don't know everybody. Everybody goes through problems and situations, and that's the truth. I'm telling you that right now. Please don't be immature. Don't look, oh, this person's better, this and that. They got all this money. They got a bunch of problems. Everybody here got them.
Hmm.
There's problems, and then there's real problems. The real ones, these traditions definitely resolve them. And it's the ones where you're up against the rope, fighting death. Children are ill in the hospitals, or you're dying, or etc. All of those things. These things, Ochaifa, Paulo, resolve these problems.
Yeah.
One thing is
That's
faith.
it.
I don't have faith with this stuff. When it comes to that, there's no faith.
Yeah.
Believe in the reason, nada de eso. Aquí no hay faith ni nada de eso. This is real. You got illnesses that are going to take you out the round. Those things tell you they're going to save you. You're going to live. And they'll tell you the amount of time. Hey, you're going to be here this much more. That's it. Es solo cambio de vida. And I experienced them, right, with my godfather, et cetera, all of these things. There's balaos, santeros that do all of that crown and they give you life, et cetera, et cetera. Because that's all that we're here for. Live all the facets, live through 'em, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the reality of things.
Hmm.
You get me? Keep the stuff alive, man. I feel bad. I feel bad for the ones, you see what I'm saying, that didn't grow up with the same way that I grew up within the traditions, that didn't have that opportunity. Because
Yeah.
you were here within the States, you only speak English, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that's just scrolls of time. All this stuff is within that, the divination is within that book, but I feel bad. Um, because knowledge, everybody has the right to teach and to be taught.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Within anything, you guys have the right to be taught and the right to teach, to be a
Hmm.
part of the tradition if you're looking for it, to have your power and cause change within your own life. That's the truth, man. There's gonna be uphill battles. You're gonna have your issues and your problems finding priests here and there. For the priests who speak
Hmm.
English and Spanish, it is your responsibility. You hear me? It is yours the same way as mine to bring in newcomers, people who only speak English, and orientate them correctly. And then once again, there's a bunch of them also on TikTok and all of that, and YouTube and all of this stuff. I support you guys. Do what's right because I see. I play long games. I don't play little games. I don't play. I'm about to crown and make 10 grand. I don't play that. We play long game. Well, how's the tradition gonna be? You get me
Hmm.
100 years from now?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna end up leaving. I'm gonna end up leaving the goddamn round. And if I come back, I want to fall into a good ass house. You get me? I want to fall into a good house and have a path at least that I can. You get me? That I can do redo it all over again. It's a different person, a different culture. It don't matter. But I want to do it again. You get me? And
Hmm.
that's the truth of that.
It makes a world
So
of difference.
hopefully,
That's for sure. It makes a world of difference. I've
it
seen it
makes a
on both
world of difference.
sides. Yep.
Let's go. Us as priests, let's sacrifice and do what we do. When we're only gonna be here for a short period of time, we're coming right back. Make sure that we do things correctly. We come back. This is
Yep.
not a party and play tradition, or has died off, or the way things um the power of it, the practicality has died off. You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? That cannot go. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. Alrighty. Like, share, subscribe, and I watch the comments. I like when you guys comment, give me your standpoints and ask questions and all those things. I love it. Trust me. I'm like, yeah, look, we got practitioners out here who feel the tradition the same way I do.
Hmm.
All righty. I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a good night. Thank you, my bungu. I'm proud of you like always.
Appreciate you, Bamboo.
It's been a
Thank
long
you.
time. We've been doing this for a long time. And look, now we're doing our lives. All righty. Bye bye.